Hello cats and kitties, it's Terry Lee, and I'm sorry it's been a minute since I've seen you guys. I've been under the weather, but I am feeling a little bit better now, so yay! And this is the long-awaited, actually I don't know if it's long-awaited or not, but this is the promised Ask Me Anything video. So I have right here my notebook. It's got a leather cover on the front and the back. And inside, I have written down the questions that you guys submitted. Some of you submitted them on Facebook, some of you submitted them on the community tab. So I'm going to turn to them and I'm going to put on my sexy glasses. Bam. And I had to write them, my vision is still wonky, so I had to write them in huge capital letters. You see that? So that I could be able to read them. Now, I haven't on purpose given a lot of thought to these, so that my answers will be pretty much, you know, off the cuff. So, let's see. The first one is from Dee. Hi Dee. Dee is my friend in New Zealand. And it is, name one song you are embarrassed that you adore. Okay, I'm not really embarrassed that I adore it, but it is kind of weird for me. There is a song, a country song, and I'm not a huge country fan, so this is a little bit different for me. And it's called Rough and Ready. I think it's by Trace Atkins, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, the song is basically about a good old boy, a good old country boy that is rough and ready, and he's just a good old boy. And it's just a catchy song, and I like it. And I'm from a part of Tennessee where there are lots of good old boys, and it just, I don't know, it just hit home with me. Rough and Ready. You can go look it up if you want to. And I just thought, I like this song. So totally out of what would normally be something I would listen to. But, so I'm not exactly embarrassed by it. It's just weird. It's weird that I would like it. Okay, our next one is from C. And she wants to know my favorite book or author. Well, my favorite book is by my favorite author, so that works out well. My favorite book is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the author is C.S. Lewis. I love C.S. Lewis. I've read many of his works, but the reason I like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is it is such a cool and wonderful allegory of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. You have Aslan, who is the Christ figure. You have the kids that are kind of the man figure, you know, the humans figure in the allegory. It's an incredible, it's a great adventure. It's a great book, but when you put it in terms of it being a spiritual allegory, it's just phenomenal at that point. The entire series, the entire 7 books of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, 7? I think that's right, are good. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe itself, I really like. I also really like The Last Battle, which is the last book in the series. It's really good too. C.S. Lewis I find amazing. He started out an atheist and became, wound up being converted to Christianity. And he was just a brilliant guy, brilliant scholar, brilliant author. So yeah, my favorite book is by my favorite author. So there you go. Not counting the Bible. I'm a Christian. I think the Bible is an incredibly important book to us. But if you're just asking book written by human, no divine intervention, then yeah, we're going to go with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Okay, A asked me several questions. The first one was the biggest regret, something you wish you had done. I wish I had gone to law school. I was set up to go to law school. I took an introductory law class while I was in undergrad that was supposed to sort of mimic a first-year law class. I took my LSAT, which is the law school admissions test. My parents gave me a briefcase and Black's Legal Dictionary for Christmas, and it was, yeah, I was ready to go. The reason I didn't was because of the expense. I knew I was going to have to take out a ton of student loans because I did not have in school, in college, I had scholarships that helped pay, and my parents paid the rest. But I wouldn't have any scholarships in law school, and it was going to be expensive, and my parents had done all they could do at that point. It was going to be, I was going to have to take out a bunch of loans. So instead, I went ahead and went with teaching. I'm happy I did that. I've loved my career in teaching, but I really kind of regret that I didn't go to law school. Okay, what is my guilty pleasure movie? Oh my gosh, that's so easy. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show, it is a horrible movie just on the face of things. It's a musical. It's got great music, fantastic soundtrack. But the movie itself is just kind of what the crap was what you'll be saying to yourself while you're watching it. The thing that makes it fantastic and great is the audience participation. If you go to a showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show that has audience participation, and that is the only way to go to a showing, it is so much fun. You can have so much fun participating. You'll get to, let's see, things you'll need are newspaper, dog food, spray bottles, cigarette lighter, playing cards, rice. There's more than that, I'm sure. I'm forgetting something, but all these things are props that will be used as you help act out the movie. It's a horrible movie. I mean, it just is. It's without the help of the soundtrack and the acting out, it's just kind of a, you know, what the crap kind of movie. But it's not going to win an Oscar. It didn't win an Oscar. It's 1974, 5. It's a 1970s movie. It would not have gotten good reviews from, say, Siskel and Ebert, but it is absolutely hilarious when you act it out. So that is my guilty pleasure movie. It's not, you know, one of these really meaningful dramas or anything. It's just guilty pleasure. What is your biggest pet peeve? This is also from A. My biggest pet peeve is tardiness. Unless you have really good excuse like caught in traffic or something, you know, suddenly came up at the last moment. But if you're tardy just because you couldn't leave on time or you didn't leave on time, that's annoying to me. If you didn't start getting if you didn't start getting ready early enough to leave, that's annoying to me. I'm like, just do it earlier. You know, set your alarm earlier, put your clothes out, you know, whatever you need to do to be there on time. Yeah, tardiness kind of makes me crazy. Bad grammar makes me crazy, even though I'm guilty of it from time to time, but just ridiculously bad grammar makes me kind of nuts. Maybe I'm sensitive to that because of where I'm from. Where I'm from, I think a lot of people think that we don't know how to use correct grammar for my part of Tennessee, and so maybe that makes me a little more sensitive to it. I don't know. Rudeness to people in the service industry, rudeness to fast food workers, rudeness to waiters and waitresses, rudeness to people that work in hotels, or I think that is just unnecessary and uncalled for, and these people are working hard for little pay, and the last thing they need is you being rude in their face. So yeah, rudeness to the service industry, I don't like that. Okay, this is from M. When have you felt your most down, and what brought you around again? Probably I have felt the most down during one of my depressive episodes. Those happen, really bad ones happen every few years, and the last one was in 2019, I think, the really bad one. And what brings me around again is my family, particularly my husband, Bill. He is always very good at talking to me directly and honestly about my depression. I see my doctor. That helps bring me around. Music helps bring me around. Sometimes I'll play the piano. That helps. God helps bring me around. Prayer helps bring me around. The prayers of people who love me help bring me around. So, as far as just what makes things better, I mean, there is no one thing, and there is no magic thing, no magic cure. Obviously, a change in my medication can help bring me around, but there are a lot of factors that help bring me around. There's not just one that goes bing, and then Terry's not depressed anymore. So yeah, I would say family, music, medicine, and most importantly, God. Okay, let's see. PB wants to know how is your weight loss journey going? It's going better now. It was going horribly this fall. This fall we had so much going on in my family. We moved my husband's parents here, then my husband's father died, then a very dear friend of mine died, and then the holidays hit, and I was just doing this. Just, you know, as much food as I could get in my mouth. I was eating my feelings, and so it was not going well, and I gained back like 17 pounds that I had lost. But I am back on track again. I'm back in the saddle again. I've lost 8 of those back, and you know, I'm just really trying hard to stay focused and stay on the track. I use Weight Watchers. That's what I do, and it works for me. It works really well for me. And we'll just hopefully have a better fall this year than last year. Oh my gosh, here's hoping. Let's see. SK wants to know, how do you take your coffee? A lot of people think because I'm such a coffee freak that I take it black. I don't. My husband does. He takes it black, but then again, he's former Army, and I think he's required to take it black. I take mine with creamer and sweetener. Sweetener is usually something that's sugar-free, Equal or Splenda, something like that. And creamer, I will use just regular creamer, but I like flavored creamer, and my favorite is chocolate. I like to put chocolate in and make a mocha, and then add just a little bit more sweetener in to just take the bitterness out. So yeah, I take sweetener and creamer in my coffee, and I like a flavored creamer if at all possible. So there you go. And I'm a little bit of a coffee snob. I want the base coffee to have kind of a nutty flavor before I put creamer in it. So there you go. Let's see. Okay, TF says that she knows that I'm a Van Halen fan. That is true. They're my favorite rock band. And she wants to know, in my opinion, who was the better singer or frontman for Van Halen, Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth? Wow. This is like asking, do you like Coke or Pepsi? I am a bit of a Van Halen purist. I like the David Lee Roth music better. I think David Lee was a fantastic frontman, although I understand he was quite a jerk to work with. That's not to say that I don't like any Sammy Hagar music. I realize they hit their biggest stride, their most commercial success, with Sammy Hagar as their lead singer. And there are some songs with Sammy Hagar. You'll see Pound Cake, Humans Being, Black and Blue. Excuse me. That, I like those songs with Sammy. And they're kind of the harder songs. I think the thing that I missed about Van Halen was they got a little bit softer with Sammy, and I like the hard rocking version of them a little bit more with David Lee. So, but yeah, David Lee is my favorite, and I got a bucket list, a wonderful bucket list item checked off when I went about 12 years ago, I think, to Charlotte, North Carolina, to see Van Halen with David Lee Roth as the lead singer. And that was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome, too, because the bass player, Michael Anthony, had left the group by then, and I wasn't interested in coming back when the group reformed. So Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, was playing bass. And so that was kind of cool to see that. All right, let's see. A Violet Ocean. I love that name. A Violet Ocean says that she knows that I've mentioned that I'm a metalhead, wants to know what my favorite bands are, and have I been to any good concerts. Okay, I am an old school metalhead, so I'm talking AC/DC, Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. So I'm old school. I do like Disturbed, which is not exactly recent, but more recent. And I have a cat doing cat things. Sorry about that. So I am more of an old school type person. I also like hard rock hair bands. I am a Motley Crue fan, I admit it. Def Leppard, some Bon Jovi. So yeah, as far as concerts, I have been to, let's see, I've seen Def Leppard 3 times. And actually, they're very good in concert. I've seen, who else have I seen? I've seen Bon Jovi. I have not seen my bucket list ones, which are Metallica and AC/DC. I really want to see them. I have seen, they're not what you would call a well-known metal band, but Trans-Siberian Orchestra does they do hard rock metal twist on classical music, and a lot of it's Christmas music. And every Christmas season they do a tour, and their stuff is fantastic. It's hard, it's driving, the light show is incredible. I mean, it's like right up there with Pink Floyd light show. Just amazing. And so I like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Let's see. Yeah, I'm an old school metalhead. Anthrax. Sorry, I forgot Anthrax. Wow. I forgot one of the big 4. Also, one of the big 4 is Slayer. Not a big Slayer fan, not because I don't think they're talented. I think they're hugely talented as a metal band. But the whole Christian thing within me makes it a little hard for me to listen to Slayer. It's a spiritual thing for me, but I'd absolutely admit to the fact that they are very talented. Okay, so my concert going is not as good as I wanted to have been, and probably not as good as you wanted to have been. So I'm sorry, validation. Let's see. Lauren says, "What is my comfort meal, my self-care activity, and my favorite makeup and skincare products?" My comfort meal is pancakes. I love pancakes. They're fluffy, they taste good, the maple syrup is awesome. So if I'm going to have a comfort meal just to make me feel better, it's going to be pancakes and a good cup of coffee. And my husband makes great pancakes, so see, that works out well. Let's see, what else? Comfort food. Donuts. Pancakes and donuts. Notice my comfort food is not even remotely good for me, but I don't think most people's comfort foods are good for them, are they? I don't think people are running around going, "Celery, it's my comfort food, man." No, I don't think so. All right, self-care activity. One of the things I do for self-care, and I'm not good at self-care. I tend to kind of wait till I'm about to crack before I do anything self-care, but I journal. In fact, the notebook that I showed you at the beginning of this video is my journal. I put the questions in the back, but the rest of it is my journal. So I journal, and I help, as I say, take the trash out. I take the stuff that's bothering me, and I put it in my journal, and that gets it out of my head. So I do that. I play the piano. One of the ways that I can just feel myself go, is to sit down at my piano and play. And there are some videos of me playing on my page if you want to go look those up. Not a lot, but some. A lot of Christmas stuff. I love to do Christmas stuff. But playing does help. And every now and again, I have not a self-imposed, but a mandatory self-care that my husband does. He will get a room for me at a local hotel, very nice hotel, and he will order a spa session for me at that hotel, and no one is allowed to contact me, message me, anything like that, unless it's an emergency. or if they're having an emergency, they're told to contact my husband. So I'm completely off the grid. I'm completely incommunicado. I can sit and watch true crime in my hotel room all day long if I want to, and then I can go have my spa session. And he's done that for me a couple of times now, and it has been, it's a lifesaver. It's incredible. So that's a good self-care activity that I actually don't have anything to do with. He kind of gives it to me. Favorite makeup or skincare? I love Thrive. Thrive is a makeup company that donates to causes for women, so I feel like I'm also doing something helpful when I buy it, but it's fantastic. My eyeshadow, no, excuse me, not eyeshadow, my eyeliner and my mascara is Thrive today. And the Thrive mascara actually makes me look like I have eyelashes. I have very thin, wimpy lashes, but I don't like to use fake lashes. I don't like to use false eyelashes. So this actually gives me a look of actually having eyelashes. And the eyeliner is fantastic. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't run. I've even cried and it stayed on. So good stuff. So I like Thrive. I like Yensa as far as base. I love their foundation. It's very creamy, it's full coverage, and I like full coverage. And let's see, Purlisse. I love Purlisse's moisturizer and their primer. Both of them are good. The moisturizer I find just goes right into my skin, and my skin just drinks it in, and it's really good. It's not greasy. Lipsticks. Dose of Colors is a nice brand that I like pretty well. Right now I am wearing Bath & Body Wine Knot. It's a lip tint. So as you can see, it's pretty sheer. Just giving a little bit of color there. Let's see. I think those are the biggies. The one that I use probably the most, that I recommend most, is Thrive. Love Thrive. Okay, let's see. Where are we? PG wants to know my favorite band instrument and why. My favorite band instrument is a bass clarinet. It looks like a clarinet and a saxophone had a baby, and it's big. I mean, it's like really long. And I started playing it my senior year in high school. I wish I had started earlier. I played clarinet ever since 6th grade. I played clarinet. And I played clarinet all through middle school and all through high school. And I marched clarinet in marching band, because you can't really march a bass clarinet. I guess you could, but it's kind of hard. And I just happened to try bass clarinet my senior year for concert season. After marching season was over, we have concert season, and I wanted to try something different. So I'm like, I want to try bass clarinet. My band director was like, no, we need you on clarinet, don't do that. And I was like, no, I really want to play bass clarinet. So he's like, okay. And I loved it. I loved the sound. I loved how funky it looked. It's such a cool looking instrument. Like I said, it looks like a giant clarinet. It looks like a giant clarinet had a baby with a giant saxophone. You could look it up if you want to, bass clarinet. And it is just, I love it. It's just an awesome instrument. If I could have one right now, because they cost like thousands of dollars, but if I could have one right now, I would. So yeah, bass clarinet. Let's see. Rebecca wants to know, what have I done professionally? She remembers me mentioning that I was in education. Yes. I minored in secondary education in college, which in Tennessee means 7th through 12th grade. And my first teaching position was at a group home for abused and troubled kids, for teenage abused and troubled kids. And I taught in the schoolhouse there. Some kids that came to us were not ready for public school yet. They needed some things they needed to work on. They needed to work on discipline. They just needed to be in a different environment. So they went to school at our on-campus schoolhouse. And so basically what I had was a one-room schoolhouse of high schoolers, 9th to 12th graders, and I taught them every subject. And we worked specifically, mainly on math and English, because those are the ones they generally had trouble with. And that was my first teaching experience, and it was interesting. We had a child who was unmedicated ADHD and literally climbed the walls, because the walls of the school were made of river rock, and you could actually climb them, and he did. I had a desk thrown at me by a kid who was mad. He didn't hit me, though, and I don't think he meant to hit me, because I'm a pretty big target, and a desk is a pretty big thing, so I think he was just mad. And so, yeah, that was my first education experience. Then after that, professionally after that, I was a social worker at another group home. I was a social worker for girls, for teenage girls. That was interesting. If you're interested in more stories about that, I have a video called Stories from the Group Home. I think's the name of it. It's down here somewhere in my video list. It's interesting, to say the least. After I left social work, I went to go work for Sylvan Learning Center, and I worked there for a long time. I was a teacher, and then I was the director of education, and then I was the center director. And then the center director was just taking too much time away from family, and it was just too much. I didn't want to do all that, so I went back to director of education, which is sort of being in charge of programs at the center. And I worked there for 14 years, so a long time, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because when we tutored at Sylvan, we didn't have to follow the methods that were in the regular school. We could teach them in any way that we thought they would learn, and that was kind of cool to be able to do that, and we were able to help a lot of kids, so that was neat. Let's see, our last question is from C, and C has two questions. One, who is your favorite musical artist? Okay, that is different than favorite musical group, which is Van Halen, and closely followed by Metallica and AC/DC. My favorite musical artist, and this will be kind of a shock, is Billy Joel, the Piano Man, because he is an incredible songwriter. He's a good vocalist, and of course he plays the piano, and that's my instrument. So I love Billy Joel. I think he's an incredible talent. He has a song out right now, first song he's had out in years, called Turn the Light. Is it Turn the Light Back On? Turn the Lights Back On, I think is the name of it. But anyway, he's got new music out, and it's fantastic. Favorite movie. My favorite movie by leaps and bounds is The Princess Bride. It's such a great movie. It's a comedy, it's an adventure, it's a romance, it's hilarious, it's so quotable, inconceivable. It's just a very quotable movie, and I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking, this is a fantastic movie. I will always love this movie, and I do. And sometimes my husband, if I ask him to do something, he will look at me and say, as you wish. And if you've seen the movie, you know, as you wish means I love you. So that's it, guys. That's the questions that I have, and that's good, because this video is leaning towards 30 minutes, kind of heading toward that way, and I don't like videos any longer than that, really. I don't think I kept soft-spoken up as well as I needed to this time, because I got excited talking about things, and so I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry if this wasn't the most restful video you've ever had. Maybe turn the volume down a little bit. It'll be a little bit more soft-spoken. I don't know. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves and each other, and I hope that you have had a good beginning to March. March here has been kind of rainy, but the temperatures have been good, so that's nice. So take care of you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.